It's Rachel with Break Free Podcast, and I'm really excited to have you guys back. We have Adam Poehlmann with us today, and he's gonna introduce himself, and we're gonna talk all about how he breaks free. So
yeah, thanks for having me.
So tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so my story is I don't want to make it too long, but I played baseball my whole life growing up. Mm-hmm. That was like my identity, kid, playing sports, got good at it at a certain point. It's like, okay, I never knew what I wanted to do with my life as far as a job, a career, some sort of calling. I just knew that I wanted to play baseball. And when you're a kid, you're like, I'm going to be a professional athlete. I'm going to be a professional athlete. And that stuck with me forever. So I had no plan B, no backup whatsoever. Mm-hmm. So I went to college to play baseball. And sort of through like midway of my second year, I dealt with the Yips, which is basically like some sort of psychological block where you forget how to do the things that you're really good at. So like throwing 30 feet, playing catch was extremely difficult. I could throw it 300 feet, but throwing it 30 feet, I was overthinking. And
how does this come about?
There are a lot of, we don't quite know, but basically the biggest thing is out of fear of what may happen.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think through different combinations of the stress of playing a Division I sport, I think people think it's all rainbows and butterflies. It's really difficult. The stress of that, I don't respond well to people like yelling, getting in my face. And I had a pitching coach that was like that a lot. Mm-hmm. So I didn't respond well to that. And I just developed this fear of what if I don't do well? And I think over time that happened. It was really crippling. So basically, long story short, I got my scholarship taken away, got let go. Went home to Fort Collins here and was like, what am I supposed to do? And I thought it was a good time to let baseball go. And so I let it go. And then I had to figure out something else that I wanted to do. And my dad was a bodybuilder growing up. And so he was super into fitness. My mom and dad would always go to the gym. We'd be sitting in the nursery while they were working out every single day of the week. Wow. So the gym is super familiar to me. Mm-hmm. So to get through that really hard kind of like dark, depressing time, my dad would take me to the gym and we would work out. And I realized I really enjoyed it over time. And I saw my body change. I saw myself get stronger. And that was really cool to see. It was direct. You get direct results from the work that I was putting in. And that was fascinating. And so basically I grew a love for it and decided I want to start helping people or at least figure out how I could turn it into a career or something to at least do while I was in college studying. And so that's when I started personal training and then realized that I wear a lot of hats right now, but I'll always be a personal trainer and a fitness and nutrition coach. Mm-hmm. So that's how it came to be. And then after training in person for a while, I wanted a little bit more freedom, be able to reach more people, make it easier on them, make it more cost effective because personal training can be super expensive. Mm-hmm. So that's when I started doing the online coaching and helping people remotely. So that's the story.
Wow, I didn't know. And I've also never heard of that. What do you call it?
The Yips. So it's very common in golf. And mostly golf is what it's really common in. And then baseball, catchers get it a lot. They overthink throwing it back to the pitcher. If you've ever seen the movie Major League with Charlie Sheen, the catcher gets it in that movie.
He does?
Yeah, they have him look at Playboy magazines.
Now I'm going to go back and watch it.
He can't throw it back. He either throws it like 10 feet too short, straight into the ground, or way over his head. And they have him look at Playboy magazines to get his mind off that doesn't actually work. Just so you know. But yeah, it's I worked with a sports psychologist, and that's when I also started getting super fascinated with just the mind and how it works in
that's what sports, I was about to say.
Fitness, training, everyday life, the super mind. Powerful. Yeah.
Like how powerful is that? Yeah,
super powerful. I had to do.
So how long did it take you to overcome that?
I would say I don't know if I've still gotten to 100% overcoming. It's 95% better than what it was. I would say years time away from baseball definitely helped. The practices that I did with the sports psychologist helped a lot as far as visualization. That helped a lot in the short term, but it would still slowly creep back. I think taking the break for a couple of years from playing helped a ton because then I started playing in like a men's league in the summer, and now it's pretty much non-existent. So, a couple of years. I mean, it's different for everybody. Some people never get over it. It affects everybody. On our team, we had 3 guys that had that, and that's extremely rare. So it was super weird to have 3 guys that didn't know how to throw a ball, but yet they were Division I athletes that were being paid to throw a ball. So super fascinating.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that with us. I for sure after this, I'm gonna now I'll start probably thinking like, okay, I have heard of it. Maybe I just didn't realize that that's what it was.
Yeah.
So first of all, I just want to say that while he was talking, I was just looking at him being like, first of all, I refer all of like anybody that comes to me for training. I refer, like, this guy is the best personal trainer. And also, all of my clients, when they're looking for a good fitness and nutrition podcast, he is the first podcast that I refer them to. Yeah, it is phenomenal. It's extremely well put together. He's also very funny and has a serious, like, great sense of humor, and just like every single podcast, you're going to get something very beneficial out of it. So anyway, I applaud you for that.
Thank you.
Seriously, that is so awesome. Okay, what does break free mean to you?
Yeah, so I don't know, a lot of stuff comes to mind. I'll list a couple of things, maybe 3 things. The first thing that comes to mind is accepting amazing grace that we have. I mean, given that we are in a broken world, we're trying to please all these things that will never please us. I think finally realizing that someone cared so much, died on the cross for your sins so you can live a better life, is like the most freeing thing that I've ever done. And I understand that people listening, that's like, ugh, tacky, disgusting. And I get it. It might look different for everybody, but at the end of the day, realizing that the things of this world will never satisfy the thing that we're always yearning for, and trying to finally find what will satisfy that thirst and quench that thirst is really what is freeing. That's the first thing that comes to mind. The second thing I would say is being self-aware, learning self-awareness, learning how to look at yourself objectively. That way you can actually learn and grow rather than just being stuck in place because you're stubborn or unwilling to see what is actually going on. And self-awareness is really hard. You kind of have to detach from the emotional things that are going on, preconceived notions about who you are, who you think you are, who you should be, and just kind of take a step back and get a bird's eye view of who am I right now? How am I behaving? How am I treating other people? Where am I weak? Where am I strong? How can I grow? Learning that, or at least learning how to process those thoughts, I think is extremely freeing, because once you realize that, you have nowhere to go but forward, because you can look at what's going on and analyze and process and readjust and figure things out versus constantly projecting blame on other things that are going on. And that's a huge freeing step. So those are 2 things that come to mind for me when I think of break free.
That
Self-awareness
was phenomenal. Like, I just think of how powerful that's been in my own life when you come to that place and being able to, like, kind of step back and being really self-aware of, man, I think of different times in my life where, just, I don't know the best way to say it, but like the mistakes that I've made maybe, or decisions that I've made in realizing my place in them. Okay. Realizing my place.
That's it, yeah.
Yes. That's what I was looking for. Realizing my place within certain situations. Right. And before, there's a time in my life where, like, I was never at fault for anything. And, like, I didn't see my place. I didn't see where I could have done something differently. Right. But now being able to step back from certain things, being like, okay. And especially realizing you can't control other people.
Exactly.
So what can you do, like, to look at yourself and be like, what can I do differently, right? I can't change them, but what can I do differently?
Yeah. You're not going to be able to change the stuff that's going on around you in your world, but you can always change how you react to it.
Yes.
Change how you perceive it, change how it affects you. That's always in your control. Yeah. And being able to understand that is going to change the way you live your life forever, as long as you can kind of take time to step back and say, okay, how can I handle this thing? Yeah.
I think it's learning how to take responsibility, for sure.
Absolutely. 100%.
Anybody in any part of their, like, in transformation in life, and the moment actually, I think when I was on your podcast, that's the thing I said, that is the one, that was my moment when I realized that I was completely responsible for my life, for, my decisions. Like, that was my changing point. And how powerful that can be. Okay, that was awesome. So what brings you joy in life?
A lot of things that bring me joy. Yeah. I think specifically relating to break free and relating to how I choose to spend my time, how I choose to make a living, all of that stuff. I really find joy in helping people break free, so to speak, from the chains that seem to bind them when it comes to losing body fat and the difficulties that can come with that. And the, I don't know, we tend to make it more difficult than it actually is. Because losing weight, it's going to, maybe some people will be turned off, but it's actually, pretty easy. Most diets that are out there, they work. They might not be the best, but they'll work. You can starve yourself, that will work. You can move more, that will work. Losing weight isn't really that hard, but learning the processes that allow us to lose weight and then learning how to keep it off is really what is freeing, because then you don't have to constantly worry about, I've gained 20 pounds again. I guess I got to try a new diet to try to lose it. You are always in the know of what you can be doing to manage your weight, and teaching people that is really what brings me joy, because then they don't have to come back to me. They don't have to go to another diet. They don't have to go to another dietitian to figure out how to lose the weight again and again and again. I really find joy in teaching them how to take control, like what we were talking about, of their health, and be aware of what is truly going on for them specifically. That way they can kind of break those chains, and they don't feel bound to the difficulties of fat loss and the not knowing of fat loss.
Right. I love hearing what brings people joy. And like I said, like before we started, I'm like, I know so many things probably bring you joy, but like really, we all have that thing, especially in what he works in. And, but what I love is in his story, and it always happens this way, in his story in the beginning, he talked about, everything that he went through. Then he started going to the gym with his dad, and he started to notice the change in his body, and like how, really how that helped him, right? And he started to find that joy within himself. Yes. And what happens is when you find that joy within yourself, and you're truly, have some kind of life change by it. It's helped you through like a dark time. He was in a really dark time. It helped him through a dark time. And now you spread that joy to other people, and that's exactly what he's doing. So I absolutely love how what we bring to other people, our joy often comes from our own, dark times and how we have transformed our lives.
Yeah, and I think the reason that plays out so much is because we don't want other people to feel the same entrapment that we did.
Yes.
We finally had the opportunity to break free, and we don't want other people to feel that same pain. So we feel that immediate sense of, I need to spread it. Because if you think of other things in life, like you discover some sort of secret or some sort of hack, we would automatically think, I'm going to keep that to myself, so I can take advantage of it, and I can reap the rewards of this, and I don't want anybody else to find out. But we, as humans, we don't do that, because we have this sense of compassion mostly, and we want other people to have the same success that we do, and we don't want other people to be bound to those chains that we would like. I mean, you look at parents. We give kids advice because we don't want them to have to go through the same things that we did. Yeah. So I think that always just comes out to play when we go through things and we realize how to finally break free of them. Then we automatically want to share that, because we feel the pain of being bound, and we do not want other people to be in that misery.
Yep. So what from this could you give our listeners right now, something they can implement in their lives right now to start to bring this own joy to their lives? Yeah.
So specifically speaking to what I was talking about, the biggest thing when it comes to fat loss, I'm going to get a little nutrition-y and training-wise and get all nerdy here. But the biggest factor that comes to burning calories in the day is our metabolism, right? We have to have a really good working metabolism if we want to lose body fat. And one of the biggest things that we can do to help speed that up is strength train. Now, I would say resistance training or weightlifting, but the reason I say strength train is because I can lift 10 pounds for 20 reps, and I can lift 50 pounds for 5 reps, and both are going to give me both are weights, but both are going to give me very different results. So lifting for strength for the purpose of getting stronger is going to be one of the best things that you can do to speed that metabolism up. That is like the number one thing there. After that, eating a good amount of protein is going to be a huge help. Anywhere from 0.6 to 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight, depending on how lean you are. It's a very wide range. In health and fitness, my number one answer to everything is it depends. So that I give that wide range because it depends on who you are and how you react. And taking the time to figure that out is going to be your best friend. It's going to be easier to go online and just find some simple, quick way to lose body fat. But if you don't take the time to figure out who you are and how you best react to certain protocols, certain regimens, you're going to be screwed the rest of your life because you're constantly going to be coming back. So strength training, eating enough protein, and then I would also just say increasing the amount of daily activity that you have through your steps. Our lives are just automatically so sedentary. We drive, everywhere. We're at a desk. We don't take that many steps in the day, and that's the easiest way to increase the amount of calories that you're burning in the day versus, my coach told me to go do an hour of cardio every single day. Screw that. Whereas, my coach told me to just, stand up while I'm folding the laundry or vacuum, an additional 1 time a week. And that helps me get the house cleaner, so getting up and just moving for 5-10 minutes at a time is going to be far easier to maintain than just getting on the treadmill and running forever. So those are some 3 easy takeaways that I would say. Just lift for strength, try to build your strength as much as possible, eat a decent amount of protein, and then just increase your daily activity through your steps. So if your daily step is, 3,000 a day right now, go to 4,000 and try to maintain that and build and build and build. So 3 simple takeaways that I would give to help speed that metabolism up a lot. That way you're not so bound to the difficulties or potential difficulties of fat loss. Yeah.
Those were excellent. And those are so simple things that you can just think about right now to implement into your life. And, I love how you shared earlier that it really, first of all, I love how you talk about small steps and not changing, so many times, especially, we're before the New Year's right now. And thinking about everybody, come 2020, everybody's like, all right, I'm going to start working out 7 days a week. I'm going to this, that. And they haven't been working out at all, and the chances of sticking with that are, I think the percentage is like 95% chance that it will never. Yeah. It should be 99, 100% chance that it will last. But it making those changes right now of just moving a little bit more and then adding on to it.
Right. Because what you have to think about is you are asking yourself to change the way you live. You're changing your habits in order to maintain good health, a good body fat percentage, good movement, function, flexibility, mobility, whatever you're looking at. You're literally asking yourself to change the way you live. It's like asking a smoker who smokes a pack a day, has certain times when they do it, to change the way that they smoke or to stop smoking. It's a very difficult task. So you need to start small, figure out what's the most realistic, and make that a habit first, and then build off of that. Slowly building. This whole fitness thing is a tortoise race. So slowly building is going to get you further the longer you are down that road versus going super fast and then burning out, going super fast, burning out. You're really just going to be spinning your wheels at the end of the day. Yeah.
So because I burned 541 calories on my watch, I'm just kidding. If you want to find more about that, do you do a podcast on that?
It's on my list. I did a post on it. Yeah, it's on my list for this week.
You'll do a podcast about it, right?
Yep.
Okay. About your smartwatch and the calories that you're burning on it, how it relates to or doesn't relate to your results.
Right.
Right?
Yeah. So the big thing with the smartwatch is it's only going to take a certain amount of data. Your age, your height, your weight, your gender, and that's pretty much it. And then it's going to calculate, or I should say guesstimate, how many calories you're burning. There are a lot of different factors when it comes into the amount of calories that you burn, including genetics, your current metabolism, what your body is used to. So my regimen for the last few months has been strictly strength training. So if you were to ask me to go do a high intensity boot camp class, I am going to burn far more calories than someone who consistently does that 5 days a week because I am not used to it. The more you do that high intensity stuff, the more adapted you're going to become. Your body is just going to get better at it, and it's going to burn, a fewer amount of calories. So what happens is the watch tells you you're still burning 700, 600, 500, 800 calories, whatever it is. But in reality, your body is getting better adapted to that stimulus and may only be burning 200 calories. And what happens as a result is we say, I burned 800 calories during my workout. I can have that dessert or I can have 800 calories worth of food. And you're constantly wondering why your average weight or your body fat percentage is not going down.
If you want to hear more about that stuff, you should definitely go listen to his podcast because he's spitting knowledge like that all the time. So, okay. What is your favorite quote?
Oh, my favorite quote. I don't know if I have a favorite, but one that is resonating with me right now, I'm going to butcher the crap out of it, is the Dr. Seuss quote. It's something that's there's no one that is more you than you, and you are youer than you, so be who you are, something like that. But it's just about being who you are, not worrying about other people, putting up a reflection of who you are, who you want to be, just living within yourself, I think it also brings kind of more attention to that self-awareness. So I'm not really a big quote guy. Sorry to disappoint.
No,
I make great quotes though. Everything that comes out of my mouth is pure gold.
You should have just said one of yours.
I don't even know any
But
quotes.
no, that was really good. And there was a quote that you posted kind of like that I put on a post.
Yeah, the authentic,
Yeah, what is it?
So the more authentic you try to be, the less authentic you become.
I freaking love that.
It was like mind-blowing, right?
I thought about it so much.
Because in this world of social media, in this world of social media, you see there's at first when it came out, there was a huge wave of fitness influencers. It's your highlight reel. And now the pendulum is slowly starting to swing the other direction. But what's happening as a result is people are posting inauthentic stuff to try to be authentic.
Yeah.
So for example, you have a fitness influencer that has a picture of herself basically bleeding through her yoga pants because it's that time of the month. And that is supposed to be...
That probably really does exist.
And it does exist. But it's supposed to be authentic. But the fact that you stopped and said, oh, this would be a good post, take a picture of it, makes it inauthentic because that's not something that would naturally happen. Whereas it's natural to be embarrassed of that thing. That's what's natural. But to post about it, to bring attention to it, to a certain extent, isn't authentic. So the more you try to force that, the less authentic it becomes. And you're just kind of defeating the purpose of it all.
That was cool to hear you explain that.
Yeah.
And then what's your favorite book?
My favorite book right now is Lynchpin. That one's by Seth Godin. If you haven't read that, it's amazing. It's a book that I will be reading every single year.
Why?
It is, so in the book, it talks about how we're all basically set up to be cogs in a wheel. Our schooling system, the way we're taught to think, we're basically taught to just be really, really good rule followers. Okay. So if you're good at school, congratulations, you're good at following rules, and I was. And basically the book is trying to just give you a different narrative, telling you that you are than you, and you have something uniquely different to offer, and you don't have to do things the way that things have always been done. You can go outside of the box or live on the edges of the box and completely do your own thing. And I kind of resonate with it because people would say, why don't you just train in person in a gym? Well, I don't want to. I want to do it differently. I want to train people remotely. I want to be able to just go to Mexico for 5 days and still be able to coach my clients and enjoy the beach. I want to be able to have flexibility to be with my kids a lot one day when I have kids. So that's the reason I want to live within the, outside of the lines of the box. And it basically just gives you that new narrative that, hey, you don't have to do things the way that you've always been taught to do things. It teaches you how to be indispensable, even if you do work like a 9-to-5 basic job. Everybody is replaceable at the end of the day, but it is going to kind of shed light on the fact that you are able to be that person that if they were left with a decision to let people go, that you would be the last to go because replacing you would be the hardest thing that they have ever done. So it kind of gives you that reality that you are indispensable, or at least you can be if you, like we talked about, take control and you are self-aware and you grow and you improve yourself and you make the best out of every situation that you possibly can. Yeah.
That's awesome. I'm going to have to, at first when you were talking, I was like, kind of sounds like the 4 agreements in that, we're raised to be a certain way and think a certain way, but you really can, our thoughts can, anyway. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to read that one. And then let's see, book. Oh, what's your favorite podcast besides yours?
Okay, so obviously mine now. My favorite podcast is Mind Pump. So it's a fitness and nutrition podcast, life podcast. These 3 guys, the first part is like entertainment. It's like locker room talk basically. And the second part is a question and answer from their listeners. And I think it's one of the top health and fitness podcasts right now. Okay. It's really, really good.
What's it called?
Mind Pump. So mind and pump. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Fantastic podcast. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. And why don't you tell everybody how they can find you?
Yeah, so you can find me mostly on Instagram. I'm slowly getting back on Twitter, but I don't think of funny things that often. So Instagram, you can find me. My handle is Adam_PoehlmannFit. And that's where you can find me there. The podcast that Rachel was talking about. So I'll do Q&As on Sundays. So on my Instagram story, I do a little question and answer. And then I take those questions and answer them on the show. So that's where you can answer any sort of health and fitness question that you have. Okay. I know it's nice to if I want to find something out about whatever, investing or finance, I'm going to go straight to someone who is an expert in that or knows a lot about it versus just going through 20 different pages on Google and trying to figure out what's best. That's a pain. I don't want to deal with that. So if you have a health and fitness question, you can have it answered by a personal trainer, nutrition coach. That way you can kind of get a direct answer. That's where you can find me there. Facebook is at, my name, Adam Poehlmann, or my business page, which is Poehlmann Fitness. And then Twitter, my handle is Poepo at 06, Poepoe 06.
Okay.
And that's where I'll post some of those little quotes that.
Did you already
see
say your
on
website?
Instagram. Yeah, and then my website is PoehlmannFitness.com.
Okay.
So
Okay.
a lot of articles, free guides on there as well, free
Awesome.
ebooks, all this stuff's for free. Yeah, PoehlmannFitness.com. So silly not to go download it.
That'd be totally silly. Okay. That was awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Absolutely.
Yeah, I appreciate you coming on.
Absolutely.
Thanks for joining
Anytime.
us, guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Break Free podcast by Fitness Festival Events. You can find our website at fitnessfestivalevents.com, where you can learn more about the events we have coming up, our Break Free community, and much more. For Instagram and Facebook, find us at Fitness Festival Events, or for our community, Break Free Community. For Rachel, you can find her on Instagram at rachel.pastor and email rachel@fitnessfestivalevents.com.